Had to come on here once again. What's going on, YTBC? Um, there's a heavyweight fight going on tomorrow. I don't know if people are aware. Guy by the name of Wladamir Klitschko. He's fighting tomorrow, and he hasn't. What's unique about this fight, somewhat, is he hasn't fought in the U.S. in 7 years, I believe, and he's fighting Philly's own. So I had to get on here talk about it. Bryant Jennings. Now, this is a fight actually I was looking forward to happening one day. I didn't think it would happen this early, but at the same time, Wladimir Klitschko ain't getting no younger, and if Brian Jennings really gained the I guess a fair amount of experience that I was kind of expecting, or at least going through other contenders and beating them, I guess first to get more experience. Wladimir might be retired by then, possibly. I don't know. I don't know how much longer he intends on fighting. He certainly has made his mark in the sport. On the flip side, the super mega fights happening next week, the following week that we all waiting for, and Wladimir Klitschko in his own right, I will always say, has the right to say that he is number one pound for pound. I mean, obviously he's a heavyweight. He can't do what the little guys do. He can't go up and weight and show you things. He's kind of in a division of his own. But to be champion for over a decade, that's very impressive. He doesn't control his weight. He doesn't control his era, his generation. His opponents. He doesn't control none of that. He just, whoever they put in front of him, he beats, and he usually does go after the best available opponents. And he beats them. So, and a lot of times he gets the knockout. We know about Wladimir. We know about this guy. This guy sticks to the fundamentals. Strong jab, looking to land that right hand, uses the jab to blind you. Lad's looking for the knockout. However long it takes, he's looking for the knockout because he knows he's capable of getting a knockout just about against every opponent. Bryant Jennings is an athletic fighter. I want to say he's going to be the most athletic fighter Vladimir's faced since David Haye. And David Haye was a letdown because he didn't give an all-out effort. He more so fought to survive 12 rounds. But anyway, Bryant Jennings is a guy that seems he will give an effort. And I think his efforts could possibly get him knocked out in this fight. One thing I want to commend Bryant Jennings is he didn't start boxing until age 24. He has achieved a lot. I think it's too soon again for the Klitschko fight, but to make it this far in the sport, beating Mike Perez was an accomplishment. Now that fight has a question mark over it. But it was a fight that was competitive in the sense that neither guy figured the other guy out really. It was back and forth. It was a close fight. The referee, I thought that was horrible how he took a point at the end of that fight. Mike Perez, I think, for hitting late. That's what it was on. But I don't recall a warning. But anyway, that point did play a difference in the fight because I think the fight could have been a draw, but instead one judge had it by a point for Jennings, which was the deciding factor. So, that point at the end of that Perez fight, that was so unnecessary, in my opinion. But nevertheless, it happened. Jennings walked away with the victory, split decision. That fight was life or death, and now you're stepping up to Klitschko. I don't think he's ready for Klitschko, but even if he were to give him, let's speak hypothetically, 4 or 5 more years, to try to gain some more experience against other heavyweights. Being that the division is so weak, really, that's why Jennings gets this shot, and Klitschko looks at it as an opportunity to, I guess he saw fit to come back to America for this one. But it's just this fight right here is too soon for Jennings. But again, the heavyweight division overall, we know it is what it is. So guys that aren't ready get a shot like this. But Jennings is a very talented fighter. Again, for starting boxing at age 24, I'm very impressed with what he's done. He is a thinking fighter. He does think in the ring. He does move. Has good agility. He is a defensively responsible fighter. The good thing is, well, he's 6'3", Klitschko's 6'6", but he's got the 3-inch advantage in reach. He's got an 84-inch reach. Klitschko's got a 81-inch reach. So Jennings is going to be shorter in height, but he's going to have the reach advantage. So he can hit Klitschko He's going to be punching up, obviously. This is a different task. This is a different task. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the fight. I want to see how he deals with it. Jennings got a lot of heart. He's got a lot of tenaciousness. He's very competitive. He wants to do good. He wants to make his mark in this heavyweight division. And, you know, calling out Klitschko, you know, instead of even going on looking forward to facing other guys. He's wanted Klitschko for a couple years now. So, you know, maybe he sees something. You know, he's a very intelligent guy. You know, Jennings, very intelligent guy, very gracious guy, nice guy. You know, it's not just because he's from Philly, but you know, he really is, in my opinion, from my perspective. And you know, I wish him the best. You know, he's the underdog. You know, so besides being from Philly, the fact that he's the underdog is why I really root for him tomorrow. And you know, my prediction. It's funny because, man, I was talking with somebody and they said, you know, somebody's going to lose. If you think about it, right? Mayweather hasn't never lost, and Klitschko hasn't lost in over a decade. And they said somebody's going to lose. It's either going to be Mayweather or it's going to be Klitschko. That's possible. In that case scenario, I see more of Mayweather being the one that loses as opposed to Klitschko. Because I just, Jennings, this is a tall mountain to climb. This is a very tall mountain to climb. And, you know, I don't know. We'll see how he deals with Klitschko. I won't just say that Klitschko's going to steamroll him. Every fight is different, you know. Even though styles make fights, even though it was you know, rough and tumble at times with Mike Perez, Klitschko's a different opponent, different style. He's going to stand straight up. You know, he's going to be more kind of, I don't want to say more basic, but Perez sometimes gave you some awkward movement. You know, he keeps his hands down low, but sometimes he does turn and give, you know, awkward movement, and then he'll just come at different angles with like straight punches. But he's not. Perez isn't responsible defensively at all. I mean, Wladamir's height plays to his advantage to defense, and on top of that, you know, Wladamir's gonna be harder to hit. Yeah, the way I see this fight going, honestly, yeah, I don't want to be biased at all. I do give Jennings a chance. But I don't see him winning this fight. This is almost an impossible task. Even if you gave him the experience, you know, people need to recognize and respect Wladimir Klitschko is a very, very good boxer, very good fighter. You know, and he deserves his spot in the history of boxing when it's all said and done. You know, been champion for over a decade. I respect both Klitschko's. You know, Vitali's gone, Wladamir's holding it down. You know, we'll see how well Jennings' chin holds up. We'll see how well his chin holds up. But I got Wladimir winning by unanimous decision. If not that, then I have Wladimir by knockout. I can see a knockout happening in the late rounds. And as early as the 9th round, 9, 10, 11, I can see a knockout happening. But Jennings is an athletic fighter. He's a thinking fighter. He's going to do some slick stuff. He's going to have some movement, and I don't think he's going to fight just not to get knocked out like how David Haye did. At least I don't think so. He hasn't shown us that thus far. I can't see him going all 12 rounds and having having opportunities, having his spots like he did against Perez, you know, because he couldn't really dominate and figure out Perez really. But Perez is kind of an awkward fighter. But you know, I can see him having his moments against Wladimir. I got Wladimir winning by unanimous decision. I want to say that even if Jennings gets hurt, he weathers the storm. I got Wladimir winning by unanimous decision. I don't think this fight will be difficult at all for Wladimir, though. Really, I don't think it's gonna be difficult at all. You know, Jennings is athletic, but this ain't nothing he's never seen. I mean, it's really, you know, he's Wladimir's dealt with different type of heavyweights, and he always seems to get to them. So I got, you know, I'm not going to get too technical and really, I haven't really thought about the fight like that, break it down, but I don't think it's a need to really. I think Wladimir wins this fight. Sideways 100, man. Leave me your comments as always.